Guys, we got a 2018 RAV4. We got a loud noise coming right from the alternator. Yup. We're gonna replace this baby today. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect this sensor here for safety. We're gonna remove the harness from right here. We're gonna take out the 10 millimeter over here so nothing gets broken, and this pipe, this ground here can just sit there. We're also gonna remove, we're gonna need a couple of tools. So I got a deep 14 millimeter and a gear wrench. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by popping this open. Once this is open, this thing should release. Okay, closes right back. Okay, there you go. One more time. Let's give it another temp. There you go. Once this opens up, this harness should go out of the way. But you got a connector down here on the alternator. So squeeze the tab. This connector comes right off. That's part of the alternator. So this goes to the side. We are going to remove the belt, but let me get everything out of the way. So this got to come off, but then you got to disconnect the battery. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. My friend here is going to help me. We're going to tape around it so it doesn't ground itself. So we don't need to take out the battery, but be real careful, okay? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to remove the 10 millimeter here and 10 millimeter over here. 10 millimeter here, I took out the 10 millimeter of this little bracket here, and I use the 14 millimeter here to remove the belt. So all you do is push the tensioner just like that, and this is gonna sit right there. It's not gonna come off because it goes too far and hits the bracket here. So I'll just let it sit there, but if I need to remove it, I might have to remove it because of the alternator bolt. Yep, I'm gonna have to remove it. So I'll get that wrench out of there, don't worry about that. Other than that, we got this bolt here for the main line, and then a 14 and a 14, and the alternator should just come right off. Next step, we're gonna remove this cover from right here. You got two clips on each side. Sometimes this will just snap open. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to work a little bit hard on the opposite side. And there you go, 10 millimeter. So when you're turning this, make sure you don't hit the ground anywhere, okay? Just do it safely. Okay, so it got me a 10 millimeter swivel here. So I don't want this thing to touch the metal anywhere, not even like over here, because this is live power. If you see sparks, you kind of messed up. If you see sparks now, I kind of messed up, but here it is. There you go, it's loose. Once it's loose, you can remove this little guy, and then you can go by hand. The 10 millimeter nut comes off. Do not let go of the cable, okay? When you're doing this, do not let go of the cable. And have some tape ready so we can tape this guy up. So the 10 millimeter goes there. So this is live power from the battery. So if I touch this anywhere, it's gonna have sparks. So what I wanna do here is, I'm gonna put tape all around it so it has no chance of sparking. The reason why I'm doing this, I don't want to take out the battery because you will lose the idle memory and your computer, your RPM will fluctuate, and you don't want that. So I'm going to let this sit right here. This is not going to bother me. So I got two bolts and that's it, and the alternator will come out. Okay, now I'm going to go down with the 14 millimeter. 14 millimeter socket is going to go all deep socket, okay? I cannot use a deep socket here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out both of the bolts. Once they're out, we'll see the alternator come out. Okay, I took out the bottom bolt, very easy to get to with the deep socket. But this guy right here will not come out unless, because of this bolt here, unless you take off the mount. We're not gonna do that. So I'm using a gear wrench. This is a 14 millimeter. And this is how simple this is. Very simple. Once it's loose, I thought I was going to be able to turn that by hand, but nope. We're going to just keep it going. So you guys going to have to give me like 10 minutes to get this bolt off. Okay, so this is loose. I'm going to get this bolt off. It's a long studded bolt, okay? Very long. And it should be easy to come off. It should slip right out just like that. This is how long this is. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this dipstick because it's gonna be on my way. I'm gonna just put it right here for now. So the alternator is ready to come out. Alternator is ready. I'm gonna try to wiggle it with my hand first, and if it doesn't come out, I'm gonna get a pry bar. I'm definitely gonna have to get a pry bar. It's kind of hot, so don't burn yourself. So you don't want to go against the sensor, so just be careful where you put this pry bar at. And we're just gonna push outward a little bit and upward. It's really hot. This thing is super hot. So it's loose. Everything is loose. The alternator is ready to come straight up, just like this. If you made all the clearance just like I did, this baby should just come out just like that. It's like toasty. Okay, so here's the original alternator. So I'll always recommend you put original alternator starter. So if you need a part number, you want to search this online, it's all up to you right there. This is what it'll look like inside right here. Original stuff is always original. And we're gonna put this baby into this RAV4. Okay, so we're gonna put this in slowly, same way we took out. And just you could gently push on the AC line, don't yank anything. So we got this baby sitting on the spot. I'm gonna go grab the bolts. So I'm gonna try to get this main bolt in first. Once that bolt is in, I'm gonna get the bottom bolt. And we're gonna lock up both bolts, and then we'll put everything back together just the way it was. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna take the second bolt. I'm gonna have to reach down from this side, so you might not be able to see it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yank up the alternator a bit and catch the threads on it. So you're gonna have to move the alternator around. Once you catch the threads, you're good to go. Okay, it's time for me to lock up the bolts. So I'm gonna start with this top one. So you might want to hold your alternator right in the correct position, because this is the first time I'm seeing it. It got a lot of play on it, but that's normal. So the back end has a compressed in nut, so you're gonna feel it compressed in. So don't think this is tight, because it's still loose. It's all about the feel, okay? There you go, nice and tight. Bada bing, bada boom. So this bolt is tight. All I need to do is the bottom one. The camera's not gonna see that one, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, so both the bolts are tight. 14 millimeter down here and a 14 millimeter over here. So nice and tight. The alternator shouldn't move. I'm gonna put all the cables in after. I'll put in the belt. So I'm gonna put in the belt. It's gonna be the same way. You're gonna yank on the tensioner, put the belt on. Okay, got the belt on. So do not forget this connector down here. If you forget that, your alternator is not gonna work. Okay, there you go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this cable in with 10 millimeter. Okay, so this is the worst cable in the whole job. You make a mistake with this, you're gonna have issues. It's a lot of tape. So this guy comes open. If you want to know how to open this, you squeeze and pull on this. Same thing on the other side. This opens up. So slowly go to the correct spot. And it should snap right in. Take your 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter nut goes on top. And we're gonna lock this up by hand, okay? I'm not doing this with my electric drill because you don't want to put too much power on it, because you will break the alternator. So just go manually, slowly. All you need is a hand tight, and that's it. Because if you do it with electric gun, it might just strip the whole alternator apart. That's all you need to do there, hand tight. And put this cover back on. It should click in just like that. Okay, so we're pretty much done. Don't forget to put the sensor in. Don't forget to put the bracket here. Don't forget to put the little bracket there and your dipstick, and that's it. Okay, so it's all done. Everything is nice and tight. Make sure you tighten this bolt, Very important you put this in. Very important you put the connector in. Make sure your belt is routed properly and it's not sticking out of the housing of each pulley. So we're all set to go. I'm gonna go get a voltmeter. Even though this alternator should be fine, it's a brand new from the dealer, we're still gonna check the voltage, how much it's providing right at the tip of the battery. So we're gonna take off the battery cover. I'm gonna go get a voltmeter. Okay, so we're gonna put the meter on, negative on negative. We should have 12 volts right now, 1282. It should jump up to 14 volts. We're gonna start the car. There you go. 13.99, perfect. Long as it's above 13, you're all good to go. Thank you for watching my video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. See you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.